Hi, Mama. My name is Shannon. I am a certified yoga instructor. I'm certified in prenatal yoga as well as kids yoga, family yoga, lots of different types of yoga. I'm also a sound healer and Reiki practitioner. And I'm so glad that you pressed play on this video. Today, we're going to go through a yoga sequence that is designed for mamas in their second trimester. These poses are generally safe to do during your second trimester of pregnancy. That being said, you should always check with a doctor or healthcare professional before starting any new exercise routine and just making sure that these movements are safe for your body. The second trimester is such an amazing, expansive time. It's a time of growth. A lot of times you may experience more energy than in the first trimester. That being said, you may also experience hip tightness, low back aches, even nausea and fatigue. The truth of the matter is that everyone's experience is a little bit different. So the most important thing today is going to be to listen to your own body and to do the movements that feel good for you. You can always rest when you need or skip any of these exercises that don't feel good for you. I also recommend grabbing a bolster or pillow, something that you can sit up on and also rest in during Savasana. It can also be very helpful to have a blanket that you can use for padding underneath your knees. And then also having two blocks. You don't have yoga blocks, you can always use thick books. So gather your materials, roll out your mats, and when you're ready, meet me in a comfortable seat. You can sit up on a bolster for a little bit of support underneath the hips. And close your eyes. Just starting to tune into the breath. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling, maybe through the nose or the mouth. As you breathe, feeling your diaphragm expanding in all directions. And exhaling to let go of any tension in your body or in your mind. You don't. One more breath. And once you feel settled, you can open your eyes. Inhale, reach the arms up and around, overhead. As you exhale, take the hands down to the heart, bend to the belly. Reach the arms up again. Inhale. Exhale, bringing the hands down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down. And we're going to do this 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Just starting to link your breath to movement. Nice. Inhale and exhale. And now switch the cross of your legs. A lot of times we have one side that we like to kind of crisscross in front. Maybe that's just how it feels most comfortable or natural for you. So it's good to change it up a little bit, give the hips equal time to kind of adjust. And then reaching the arms up. Now bringing the elbows in and making almost like a little W shape. This is also known as goddess arms. Open through the front of the heart and the backs of the shoulders. And then you can pretend like you're serving little platters on each side of your hand, and we're just going to hold. So we're going to keep the breath going. We're going to start to develop some arm strength. Because guess what? You will have a new little baby to hold very soon. So getting that arm strength is going to be really key to allowing your body to prepare for everything that is going to happen next. And you can even play around, maybe extending the arms out a little wider. Smiling is very advanced. Smiling makes it more fun. And breathe. Notice where your mind goes as you hold, and know that you are strong enough to hold this for a while. Good. So much of prenatal yoga is really just designed to be functional for what lies ahead. So preparing you and your baby for a safe delivery and lots of great times ahead. Are you feeling this in your arms already? Because I know I am. You're doing great. Maybe starting to pump the arms up and down a little bit. Yeah, it's feeling kind of spicy. But what you don't want to do here is hold the breath. So even though we're holding the arms up, even though it may be getting a little uncomfortable, we're also going to keep breathing. And we're pumping it up too. So you can think about it as you helping the crowd get loud around you and your support system gathering and lifting you up metaphorically during this time. Okay, whatever helps you get through this little bit. You're doing great. One more inhale. And exhale. You can release the hands. Now take the hands behind the back. You can clasp the hands, or you can use a strap, towel, or your blanket to clasp the hands, and then roll the shoulders back behind you, opening up the chest and the heart. Good. Since we did build a little bit of muscular engagement in the arms, this can feel like a nice way to just release tension. And of course, breathe. One more inhale. And exhale, release your hands. And you can move your bolster or pillow off to the side for now. And then bring your blanket with you. And we're going to come into a tabletop position on all fours. So place your blanket down on the mat. Place your knees on top of the blanket for a little extra cushion. Now, depending on how your wrists are feeling today, you can also use your blocks as a helpful prop here. You can place your hands down on the blocks for a little extra cushion, for a little extra height. And now start to move your hips in circles. You can think about your body coming towards all four corners. So back towards each leg and then forward towards each arm. And we're just going in a nice, smooth, circular motion. But getting into the hips and also moving the spine a little bit. Deep, full belly breaths as you move. Good. Try to keep a neutral neck here. And then switch directions with your circles. Just letting your body flow. It's truly gearing up to go with the flow of life, right? Because there's a lot of changes ahead. So just learning how to be present with the breath in times of movement, shifts, or change. And then coming back to a neutral spine in the center. Take your right leg long, pointing your toes down on the mat. Rotate your right heel. Now keeping your left palm down on the mat or a block. Start to come open into a supported side plank. Your bottom leg can also move outward slightly to give yourself a little more surface area and support. And so we're building strength here once again. You may feel that bottom hip supporting you and that back leg supporting you. And then you're rotating open here, feeling nice and expansive. And with that top arm, if you'd like, you can even take some big circles. And so opening up throughout the whole body. And of course, breathing. And build stability here. Switch directions with your circles. Nice work. One more circle. And then planting your palms down, taking the right foot back in, coming back into a table. Option here to take a child's pose, touching your big toes together, sitting your hips back. Now maybe you take a wide child's pose. And my favorite way to do this while baby is growing inside is to use a supportive prop like blocks or a bolster, placing my forearms down on that and then just sitting my hips back as far as feels comfortable and spacious for the belly. Good, just taking a few nourishing breaths here to open the chest, sit the hips back, to ground. So it's kind of a cross between a child's pose, an elevated child's pose, and a puppy pose. One more inhale. As you exhale, coming back into your table, and then we will do a supported side plank on the other side. Now, I want to be able to see your beautiful faces, so I am going to flip around. But you'll take your left leg back, pointing the toes, tucking the toes, and then anchoring the left heel. Right hand is going to stay firm, either on the ground or a block. And feeling supportive in that bottom leg again, you can open the leg out to the side a little bit here. And then lifting the top arm up. Good. Making sure that the palm underneath you, the fingers are spread wide to increase the surface area beneath you. And if the wrists are feeling sensitive, you can also take a fist here. Now maybe you start those arm circles, getting the blood flowing in the arm. This also just helps us tune in so we're not holding the breath. Good. Switch directions with your circles. I like to take this opportunity to just notice the environment around me, be more present. Nice. And then lowering your hand back down to the mat and setting up for a downward facing dog. So you can have your hands on blocks or you can put them down on the ground, your choice here. Walking the feet back slightly. And I like to come into a slightly wider downward facing dog. So the feet out a little bit more towards the edges of the mat. And then lifting the hips up and breathing. So this is going to stretch all down the backs of the legs. It's going to give the back a nice stretch. Think about the hips coming up towards the ceiling. It can also alleviate any pressure depending on how the baby is sitting. If it's pressing down against anything, this can help to just create a little extra fluid between you and baby to create some space and comfort. One more inhale. And exhale, dropping the knees back down, coming into a tabletop position. Then we're going to move into a lizard pose. So lizard pose is a wide lunge. It'll take your right leg and you'll start to move it forward. If you're using blocks with you today, you can keep the blocks right where they are. I find that they're really helpful on the high or the medium height, but truly your choice here. But also keep one knee on a blanket for a little extra support. So my foot is on the outside towards the edge of my mat. I'll move my blocks off to the side for a moment just so you can see the placement. You can have the toes slightly turned out if you would like. And then just start to move your hip in circles. So we're just lubricating the hip joint here. Try to keep a neutral neck so you're not gazing up towards the ceiling or down at the ground, but kind of somewhere in between, maybe a few feet in front of your mat. This can help to just alleviate tension. And you can also play around with the height of the blocks. So maybe you start on the highest height. And then if you decide you want to go deeper, you can always move them down or get rid of the blocks completely. Also notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw. And now make sure to reverse the direction of the hip circles. Good. And you can always take an open mouth exhale at any time to release a little bit of heat. Good. And then we'll take the right leg, we'll bring it back into table, and we'll move into the lunging position on the other side. So left leg is going to come forward and out to the side. Again, play around with your block height here. Decide what works best for you. It may be slightly different on this side, and that's okay. Good. The back knee is supported. You can always kind of play around here with your spacing and then start to move the hip in those juicy hip circles once again. And just noticing if this side feels any different from the other side. Remember not to overdo it here. So a lot of times during pregnancy, because we are preparing for childbirth, our body is also going to experience a little more bendy and stretchiness. The ligaments are going to expand. So you may find that you're able to go deeper, but I want to make sure that you're also taking care of your body, not moving too deep into something that could cause problems later on. Switch directions with your circles. I think that's been one of the key things for me as I practice yoga throughout the years as my body changes, is truly listening and backing off when I need, keeping a sense of muscular engagement and not going too deep into the ligaments. Nice work. Good. And then coming back into a table, and we're going to make our way into a wide-legged squat. So you can move your blocks off to the side for right now. You can make a little room on your mat as well. You can move the blanket over to the side. Bringing both feet in front. And just like we're scooping up baby and standing up, and then we're going to bring the hands down into a squat. And then we're going to scoop and lift. So we're kind of moving through a little bit of a wave squat here. Moving with the breath. Inhale, lifting up. As you exhale, bending down, picking up baby, lifting up, and lowering down. Why do we practice this? Well, for one, it's a great way to get into the hips. We get a little stretching here. We also are engaging the legs, growing stronger. We're opening up the hips. And then also we're preparing for real life activities, right? Because we will probably be bending down quite a lot. We will be playing with our children. We will be cleaning up after them. So this just helps to really prepare the body for this next chapter. And as we move, you might notice that your heartbeat accelerates here because we are working the lower body. We're working the arms as well. So what a great way to get your blood flowing. Good. Moving with the breath is key here. You're doing so great. One more. Nice work. When you complete that round, you can heel toe your feet back together. And then we're going to work on our balance. So balance is so important in yoga, especially during these few months when your baby is growing inside of you, your center of gravity is shifting. So we're going to work today on tree pose, and we're going to start standing on the right leg. And I like to have a little support nearby. So that might be a wall or something that I can lean on if I need, because balance is going to change day to day as baby grows. So we're going to start standing on the right leg. Our right glute is going to be really engaged here. Hip is going to be in. And then the left leg is going to lift. You can take your hands to your heart and then open your left hip wide. Now find your base for tree pose. So that might be a kickstand. That might be moving the foot right below the knee, or it might be picking the foot up and placing it on the inner thigh. So 3 different versions for you to play with. Just making sure that the foot itself is not resting on the knee joint. So you want to, again, always protect the ligaments. And once you found your variation, focus your gaze on something that's not moving. And then if you'd like, you can reach your arms up overhead. That's steady breathing here. Keep opening the knee off to the side. You'll really feel that standing leg work. So important as our body continues to shift and grow. Good. One more inhale. And as you exhale, bringing the leg back in front, lowering down. Good. And then coming over to the next side. So shifting the weight into the left leg. Hugging the hip in. Have your wall nearby for support. When you're ready, lift your right leg up. Open the knee off to the side and find your variation. Maybe you take a similar variation as to what you did on the other side. And you may notice that the side is totally different. So you might notice that one side, the balance comes a little easier. The other side might be a little more wobbly. And this might change every single day. So don't worry, just notice without judgment. Keep breathing through it. Steady your gaze. Know that you are strong enough for this. Good. Finding your stability, even in times of transition. One more inhale. As you exhale, release it. Great job. And then making your way into a chair pose. So feet coming roughly underneath the shoulders. They can be a little wider if you're needing a little extra space. When you're ready, start to sit the hips back like you're sitting in an invisible chair. Hands can come to your heart, and then reaching your arms up. This pose is going to build some heat in the body, so sometimes smiling really helps. Yes, we're building that leg strength, preparing our body for all of the things that we need to do. Good. Making sure that most of your weight is back in your heels. Maybe sitting a little deeper. This will not last forever. You're doing so great. One more inhale. And exhale, release, bring it up. Nice work. Now, we're going to make our way into a yogi squat. So, this pose in Sanskrit is called Malasana. And I like to use a little prop, so a block, underneath my sits bones, but you can do this pose with or without a prop. Feet are going to be wide, toes can turn out, and then you're using a block, placing the block in between the feet, and then starting to lower down. Knees are going to come off to the sides, and you will find your version of a squat. Hands can come to the heart, and then you can use your elbows to gently open the hips. Now I want you to be proud here. So think about the chest lifting, the crown of the head lifting, and then breathe. So this is a great position to open up the hips. It can be a position that's even helpful during labor. So again, practicing poses that are functional, that are helpful in this stage of life. So important. Good. Are you breathing? You can even let out an audible exhale, an audible sigh to really get into the nervous system, help the body calm. One more inhale. As you exhale, removing the block, bringing it off to the side, and then taking a seat on your mat. Now you can bring your bolster over or your blanket over to create a little extra padding. And we're going to move through another hip opener. It's called seated figure 4, which is a really great pose to help with sciatica pain. So sciatica pain can be common during pregnancy because oftentimes the baby will start to press on the sciatic nerve, and that can cause really uncomfortable pain in the legs. So this stretch can be really helpful. Now, if you've got a wall behind you, you're welcome to lean up against the wall if that feels supportive. We'll bring our legs out in front, and then you'll cross your right leg over your left leg, coming into a figure 4 position. Now, the closer that you bring your other leg in towards your glute, the more of a stretch you're going to feel. Whichever leg is lifted on top, flex the foot so you make a little figure 4 position. And then breathe. So the wall support's really nice because it helps to make sure that you're not hunching over. And it also helps support your body so that you don't have to bear as much weight down on the palms. And breathe. And now, of course, you can always shift as you need. But we're really getting into the hip and the glute with this one. And such a good one to incorporate into your stretching routine. Nice. And you may notice that it feels quite different on each side. So let's try out the other side. When you're ready, gently lowering the legs down and then crossing the opposite leg over. You notice as my body changes, getting into the shape becomes a little bit more tedious with each passing week, but that's kind of the fun of it, right? It's so awesome to be able to witness our bodies do these amazing things. Keep the foot flexed for the leg that's on top to protect your knee joint. Lots of focus on the joints and the ligaments because since our body is relaxing a bit, since we've got that, it's called relaxin, that's coursing through our body to help us prepare for childbirth, we want to make sure that we protect the ligaments now more than ever. Deep, full breaths as much as you can in this pose. Release tension in your jaw. Release tension in the backs of your shoulders. Nice. One more inhale. And exhale. Gently release that leg. And then we're going to set up for our final pose, Savasana. We're going to use a few props for our Savasana today. We're going to use a blanket. You can roll up your blanket to give it a little extra padding. This is going to help to support the head and the shoulders. And then we're going to use the bolster or thick pillow. We're going to take a side laying Savasana. So pick a side, any side, whatever side feels best for your body today. And I'm going to lay on my right side. So my bottom leg, my right leg, is going to extend long. Then I'm going to place the bolster on top of that leg. I'm going to take my other leg, I'm going to bend it Now I'm going to allow it to rest on the bolster. And then I'm going to lower my shoulder down. And I'm going to support my head with the pillow. The bottom arm can come long, or you can even use the hand underneath the head. And then the left arm can kind of help to, or whichever arm is on top, can help to be a little support system so that you feel nice and sturdy. And of course, you need to readjust at any point. Do that. Listen to your body. Just finding a few moments of stillness. So letting the movement practice just settle in. Releasing any remaining tension that you may be holding on to. And then just practicing being right here, right now, in this moment. Scanning your body from head, shoulders, back, releasing any tension. Releasing tension in the hips, the legs, all the way down to the toes. And you're welcome to stay here for as long as feels good and nourishing for your body. When you're ready to come out of it, we'll move the bolster off to the side. And then you'll gently start to press yourself up. You can bring the bolster back underneath you if you'd like, taking a comfortable seat. And then just noticing how you feel after taking the time to nourish your body, to connect with your breath, connect with your baby, stretch, move, just to witness all the wonderful changes that are happening. Know that you can come back to this yoga practice multiple times a week during your second trimester. You can play around with the props to make things more spacious, more comfortable for you. You can really tailor this video to what you need, skipping the things that don't work for you, or adding on things that feel good for your body. And then just thanking yourself for showing up. I'd love to hear about your experience in the comment box below. So leave me a message, let me know how you're feeling. Let me know which poses felt best for you, which poses felt challenging, what you're working through. And I am so excited to see you again on the mat soon. Thanks for joining.